You can't have that on. Hello everyone, this is Bertie's Beads Macrame. Just doing a live podcast on showing you how to make a bracelet like this one here. So for this particular make, I've been using 8 porcelain beads. Oops. They're 12 mils, 2 8mm porcelain beads and 1 lot of thread. Now this particular set of thread is 1mm thick. It's wax Korean thread. There's very few beads I could find that worked with the 1mm thread very nicely. So I've also got 0.5mm thread, and I found it was quite hard to get that through some of the 1mm holes. So I've now bought myself an electric drill to try and alter the size of some of the holes. So if I just move the beads to one side, the first thing we'll do is take just over the board length of the over a length of the board. Hello Louise, you can see we're doing it. Look, Louise made this beautiful bracelet earlier on today for me when I discovered I'd left them all in Malden, and she's done a far neater job than I will mostly do here. So I've just spent a few hours trying to get the video for the thread zapper to work. So this is where I mostly can't get the thread zappers to work. They are an ideal way of cutting the thread. Hello Rebecca, nice to see you too. If I just move the camera up a second, you can see I've got Katie helping me of glue on them. So the first thing I do is a normal little knot. Then what I do is I then thread on. First of all, now this thread is too wide at the moment for the 8mm, so I'm going to cut the frayed end off at a diagonal to make it easier to thread. Please remember, if you've seen my videos like how to make the wire Christmas decorations, it's a case of that I haven't just done this off of one. I've had lots of practice, and it's one of the items that I've now actually run classes for. And one day, if Katie doesn't move quick enough, I'll show her how to do it as well. There are also instructions for this on the website as a PDF copy, and my plan is maybe for this one or to do another video so it's on YouTube. So I've nearly finished threading on the macrame beads. So just a couple more, and can see at the moment, technically, we can see me on my own laptop screen as well as the phone's one. So once you've got the 2 little ones at either end and however many beads you're going to have in the middle, in this case I've got 8, but before now when I've done it with Indonesia I've gone down to 5 beads, and it needs to be tucked behind the board so that you don't then miss that out when you're doing or add it in when you're doing the macrame, which is what I did yesterday. Now I'm just briefly out of your sight doing an arm span, I've got my arms just going as far apart as they can, as it's my measuring device. I think on the instructions I mostly said something like 1.4, 1.5 meters. So I will just cut it again using the thread zapper because it just makes it easier if it's sealed up already. I might have to switch thread zappers. I'm in a lucky situation of I can use quite a few of them due to the fact that I import them and single wire. And I'm sorry for all the people who are more knowledgeable than me. It's mostly got a proper name. I'm going to I've just reconnected. And you tie a knot round it. So there's the start. Now, I have found that once you get the hang of this stitch, it's quite useful for quite a few bracelets. So what I will just do is I'm looking at the video screen. I'll move it along a bit so it's more central. The moment I'm recording, but my other laptop seems to have had me disappear, but I will carry on. So the first thing you do is you form a D shape over the central thread, and you pick up the other thread, the left hand one. You make sure it goes over the tail of the D and under the two diagonals. Now, this is called a right-handed square knot. Looking up earlier on today, we also saw that the square knot is also a reef knot, but as much as I look, I can't see it in here. And it had also got a couple of other names. I think one of them was the Hercules knot, and there was one to do with marriage. Maybe Louise can remember, but it slipped my mind. Now, I've done the first stitch on this side, so we're now going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, we form the D shape, we go over the tail and underneath diagonally, and we pull tight. And there you can just about see you get these little bits going over, and they're what we're going to count when we work out how many we do on each side. Now, on my instructions, I think I put you do 6 at each end, but for tonight I'm going to do 4, and when I saw Louise's with the 4, I thought it looked nicer anyway. So, going to take the thread and repeat it again. Now, some of the things I found out with lots of little errors along the way is the way you have to decide which side the D goes if you get distracted and forget is wherever the bit on the side with the on top part is, that's where you have the D shape. I kind of felt it was counterintuitive. I'd been trying to do it the other way round. Hello, Andrea. Nice to see you here as well. So there we are. We're halfway through the second one. There we are. So now we've got 2 complete stitches. You can see 1 there, 2 there, and on the other side there's 1 there, 2 there. Nice to see you joining us as well, Rachel. Tell you what, I hope the messages don't just keep on going up the screen, or it might be a bit difficult for me to see what I'm doing. But on the plus side, I think I'd rather... Katie's just pointed to the fact I can look at the other computer because they seem to be running in better time this week. So there we are. There's another half stitch. Now, because I was talking, I forgot which side I was going to do next. And I always want to do the right, but it's actually the left because you can see the part of the thread going over the top. So we just repeat that again. So we've got 3 stitches there now, and we're just coming on for the 4th one. Also, after about, I think there were over 10 different versions of me trying to do how a thread zapper worked. Wasn't there when I was showing Katie? So there is now a video on how to use a thread zapper. Not my finest moment. And Louise, the reason your one doesn't feature in the video was I had to do several after that because I kept on getting flustered with my words. Right, so now we've got the first 4, and what we can do is add in a bead. Now, this is really my favourite part, and it's where I discovered that you can do it with lots of different ones. So, for example, here, I found that the little skull ones fit in a treat, and the macrame thread actually holds them in place. And because it goes either side, you can then use a different size one in between. Also, as I seem to be on a theme of Halloween at the moment, I found it did work nicely for the pumpkins. And several of you have already seen where I chose not to enclose it because those beads are too narrow. So my way there was hello Kay, was because the beads were too narrow, what I did was I just threaded them on because they would naturally hold themselves in place, and I did the little clasp at the end. So it's a lot of the same stitch, which I must admit I like. So we've now pulled up the first bead and we do one of the crossovers. Did I show people the part of my birthday present that just turned up from Lydia? I haven't, have I? Right, what I'll do is I'll show you one of them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the one we've eaten, so that one's out the question. If you see this, Lydia's got me a series of love hearts because I really like sweets from my youth, and she's got gemstone names on them. So the one that we've eaten, I'm afraid, can't kind of come up as a guessing game, but there are another 2, 4, there's another 5 in total. I will send a macrame kit to people. Hello Tracy, shared with the user group, thank you, and nice to see you. And I'm starting to see some comments turn up. I've just seen Andrea's and Rachel's. So if at any point through this competition you would like to guess what the other 5 packets are called, please feel free, and I will send you a macrame kit of some description. Most probably going to be a Halloween one, as my little brain can't get past the Halloween theme for beads at the moment. And I'm going to set up the Big Bead Show's Halloween tray tomorrow as well. So that's the first one fully encased. And we'll just do the same again, the D to one side, under both of them. Make sure it goes round the bead. Now, at some point with this, at the moment, it's underneath my tripod leg. So at some point I will make an error, because I always do make errors, and one of the things I found with macrame thread is it's very easy to undo back to the point where you need to continue, and it's a nice reassuring pattern. It is very nice to do, and once you get the hang of it, and Andrea, it's very relaxing. I won't say I was very calm whilst I got my head around it originally, but since then there's something about pulling the threads tight and not thinking it's going around anyone's neck, nothing sinister like that. But there's just something very comforting about it, and it adds up quite quickly. Right, I can see that Tracy has put in some guesses. So Tracy has come up with rose quartz and amethyst, and so she will have 2 kits put onto her next order. Quite interestingly, Liddy doesn't have a lot to do with the business, so I don't think the others are going to be quite as easy. A good move by Tracy to get those earlier on ones sorted, and well done, Tracy, or thank you very much, sorry, for getting this all onto the user group. So hopefully you can still see this forming. When you said very tidy, Andrea, I think you're thinking about on the macrame board. What you've not seen is the piles of the beads that I've got stacked up in trays on the sofa, because I might not have remembered to bring all the ready-made ones home, but I did remember to bring all the beads from the shed up. Emerald's a good guess from Romilly, but it's not one of them. I was quite surprised that Liddy actually knew the name of one of them. I suspect she may have been on Google, and I'm not 100% certain one of them is a gemstone. But a very good go, Romilly. Oops. It's now wiggling around a little bit. There we are. So, right, what you're guessing is, I'll show you this one again. My daughter, for my birthday was last Sunday and they turned up today, which is about standard for my daughter's timekeeping. She bought me some love hearts with different gemstones names on them, because she knows I tend to do everything including gemstones. So people are trying to guess the other 5. We've eaten one and disposed of the wrapper, Katie and I. Amethyst and rose quartz have been guessed, so there's 3 more to guess, and if people do, I will send a kit of the beads out with the next kit. So, oh no, hopefully it was a nice distraction that you had. So here we go, in case another one. Now it's starting to come quite low down on the screen, so after I've done this one both sides, I'll show you how I raise it up. Hello Louise, nice to see you joining us. So there we are. I am learning to do jewellery making around a tripod. So what I'll do now is I'll just lift it up. Yeah, actually, Liddy, apart from the timekeeping issue, did do a really good job, because she also made, afraid not citrine. Citrine isn't one of them. I don't tell anyone. I hadn't heard of orange calcite, and peridot isn't one of them. So it'll keep people guessing for a while. Funnily enough, part of the reason being I tend to have to work completely over my birthday, but Katie's spent the Sunday with me, didn't she? But she was packaging up all your packages for you. So, but a nice bit of companionship. And then I ran out in the afternoon and picked up this phone, because after I tried to do a short-term video to show you what I was actually selling in the last event, I realised there was no way my camera was going to survive. So you could argue that I got myself a very big birthday present. I'll just quickly tell you what Liddy did, because I thought it was really nice and sweet, where she went online and she ordered a a notebook, and put all pictures of the workshop being done up on it, and had it printed. Yes, it was very nice. Hello, Noreen, nice to see you joining us there. So now we've got all 8 of the 12mm beads, and just down here I've got a little one spare. Right, so now what we're going to do is, like at the top end, we're going to do another 4 of these stitches. We've got one in place already. Red stone, perhaps garnet. No, it isn't. I was surprised. I would have expected her to come up with that one, but it's not garnet. She's actually inadvertently done a very good competition. So there we are. Right, so we've done one complete set. Whoops, have I gone, can you see there? I've gone and done it wrong. I know, Tracy, it was a lovely, thoughtful gift. It's a shame she doesn't learn to think a week earlier about doing the thoughtful gift. This is a young lady who'll be mortified if I'm telling you this, but she's out the way while we're videoing. She went and had homework for A-levels that she had to do last night, and she had work and everything. She'd known about it for a little while. 11 o'clock last night, that young lady started it. 3:30 she finished it, and then she had to get up and go to school. And unfortunately for her, the teacher then didn't mark hers, but it saves her doing it this weekend. I think we're going to have a lifetime. Oops, you see, can you see there? I'm talking and I'm getting the wrong side to lead through. But again, it's labradorite. No, not labradorite, I'm afraid. I think the nearest clue I can give for one of them is that I don't think it's quite a gemstone. I think it's got the value of a gemstone, and the impression I've got is it's become more valuable in recent years. No, Andrea, not opalite or moonstone, but good choices. So there we are. We've got 1, 2. I've got 2 more of these to do. I don't know if you can hear that rain in the background. So there we are. That is quite a storm. It sounds quite dramatic, Katie.
Yeah.
Right. I'll give you the topaz, Andrea, because you have got the right group of gemstones. I haven't heard of London blue. I will have to look it up, or if you've got a picture of it. So, Andrea, the next post that you have going out to you will have a macrame kit in it, complete with instructions that look hand-drawn. They are, but it's a print of hand-drawn ones, because I couldn't think of how to explain how to do this in photos. Right, so now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Well done. There's still 2 more to go. So carnelian, no, not carnelian. Right, so now what I'm just doing is we've got the 4. I'm just heating up the thread zapper in the hope that it will go through straight away. Might need me to hold it. There we are. Whoops, sorry about that. Now I have found if you do 6 rather than 4 and it comes undone, it's quite easy when you're actually doing this part. That would be great. I'll be very intrigued to see that because I do like a good blue gemstone. But if it comes undone and you've done more than the 4, though you could still do it with the 4, you can just undo it back a stitch and then do it again. Oop. There we are. Ruby, no, not ruby. One of them can be lots of different colours. So you've kind of got 2 clues. One can be a lot of different colours. And one of them I don't think technically is a gemstone, but it's grouped together with them. So now we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got the 2 loose ones. Now, we've got the fiddly bit, because at the moment, it will all go round nicely. Whoops, let me show you there. And what we need to do is we need to do an attachment. Now, this is very handy if people have got allergies to metal. Now, at times, I go across that top corner. I'm going to try and do it in the centre of the board to start off with. No, I like the fact that Romilly's doing colour themes. I can never pronounce the O one. Hermatite. No, they're not there. Keep going, Romilly. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up the 2 that have to be next to each other to make the connection, and I will just cut off most probably anywhere over 30 centimetres should be enough. Let's see to what extent the thread zapper is going to behave itself. Oh, and there we are, just went straight through when I was, it doesn't look, you're a few seconds behind me and all of a sudden it cuts through. So, is it, yeah, there we are. So now what I do is I thread under and do the knot again. And it's a case of the same idea. We're going to repeat that pattern, pull it nice and tight, the D shape, 4 times either side. So that's the first half. Do the D the other side. Can't really get my hands out of the way. Not ametrine, Tracy. That would have been one of my favourites, but no. I'll have to ask her where she actually got the list from. So we've got one complete set there. And just getting the second stitch coming up. There we are. I must say this phone has been quite an eye-opener. I've discovered there's completely new ways of listing on eBay this afternoon. Although I'll be doing that later on. I've got a whole load of pictures set up in drafts, including one that is the sweepings from my office floor, and it really is the sweepings, but they were I'm back watching you Tiger's Eye with help from Mum, and now I'm afraid not. Oops, if I just, yeah, that's all right. It's not Tiger's Eye. That's one that your mum likes, particularly Romilly. Particularly, I think it's the pink one. All right. See, and there you can see I've misjudged it. So I'll undo it, and I'm afraid it's not rainbow fluorite either, Tracy. I do like the two colour ones. I doubt Liddy knows they exist. I'll give you one last clue. She might have started at the top of a list, knowing Liddy. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we are. And my favourite animal and favourite gemstone I like. Well done, Andrea. You're going to get a second one. Amber is one that I don't think is a gemstone, because I think it's resin from a tree, but I'd be very interested to know people's view from that. So there is one further kit left to get. Right, so now what I'm just doing is I'm just cutting off, and I find I get through a lot of batteries. That's very kind of you, Andrea. I've got no problems with you having two, and I've got a feeling a certain young lady will have one sent to her when I next see her mum, and maybe see if I can find one of each of the stones if I've got them that she's mentioned. There we are, so that's cut off. So I might have done that last little bit a little bit too loose, but you can see there that you can move this up and down. So what I'll just do is see how much space I need to get it over my wrist. I'm glad you like the make, Andrea. Ooh. So if you see there, now I want it so it's about equal distance. So I'm now kind of gauging how much to cut off one side. If I move it in by 2.5 centimetres if I'm going to be metric, or an inch if I'm not. So I'll just re-knot it. It is very clever, isn't it? I was looking at another one that's exactly the same stitch, but you just do it all the same size and it curls round. But I didn't quite get round to how to finish that one off. I was trying to do too many different things. Yes, well, actually, I'm always trying to do too many different things. There we are. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Tracy, because I can also do what I'm going to do now is we can equal it all up, because what you can do is you can move this along to get it more central, or in my case, less central. There we are. And there, Lee Solo, I'm afraid it's not Jasper, but it's something, I don't know if they are the same group, but I think of it as along the same lines. Hello, Annette. Nice of you to tune in. What I can also make, if people would like, is we've also worked out, because one of my customers in the user group, hello, Annette, can't wear any metal findings. So we worked out how to do the necklace finding along the same ideas, which is why I'd gone, and in the last event you saw both of these, because I was thinking of using both of those. In fact, I think this one might have also been in the last event, because what I was after was quite nice big holes. Now, if you're okay to carry on listening, I'll quickly show you how to do the other one. Now, this is where I find I might not have the right thickness of thread. I've picked up the 1mm. We might have had to originally